Alright, so Green Vanessa will also be coming out alongside the GOAT Zora on May 7th at 4 a.m. server reset time, depending on your server, obviously. And she's a pretty good unit, has very good animations, pretty fun to play with, I find. Now, the main reason you're going to be pulling for her is if you like Mario, have her very highly invested. And I mean, at that point, Vanessa does seem to be pretty good, especially now that she has been buffed. And the buff should transfer over to Global. If it doesn't, I will be a bit confused. But this buff does allow her to act a lot more, I guess, offensively with Mario Leona. So it is pretty nice for that. It is a dupe 2 buff, but still a buff nonetheless. I think if you're going to invest into a unit and you want a unit, I would consider dupe 2 a pretty good spot for most units. So she is like your invincibility and like just keeping the defender alive type of unit. She is basically the witch queen of the mono green team, but a bit different at her role while still staying the same. So let's get into her skills. So she's a green supporter. She's at 110 speed. I think it could definitely be higher, but her 110 speed is still pretty good. Okay, she is quicker than, if we check it out, most of the game. Okay, like there's a good amount at 112, but besides that, like she's got a good advantage over pretty much all the every single DPS for now. So we'll see how that goes. But her main thing is one of the main things is giving SP. So her skill 1 gives 2 SP to the person with a high soul attack, so the DPS. And why this is really good is because you can't stop Vanessa from using her skill 1. So she could just use this whenever, right? Even the silence is going to force you to use it. 2 SP to the DPS, very good, especially with Mario. Now the skill 2 applies 100% chance to put Blessing of Protection. Now, Blessing of Protection is when you block damage, you restore 8% of your HP. Now, when it becomes good is when you have the skill page where it applies total defense. Now, total defense guaranteed blocks, which means you're going to guaranteed for that one turn you have total defense, get that HP heal. Which, if you're taking like 100 damage because you got 90% damage reduction, and then you heal up 8%, then you're technically like net positive with this Blessing of Protection. Overall, though, the skill 2 could have been better. I would have liked an AoE buff for like speed or something. That would have made Vanessa absolutely insane. But without it, it's just okay. Now, the ult is where it gets crazy. It's a 100% cleanse for 2 debuffs on an ally, and the person you're also choosing, it's single target, gets invulnerability for 2 turns. Now, this 2-turn invulnerability is usually very good, but let's say you put on Mario, right? She's gonna not have the most use out of it. We're gonna talk about it in the dupe section. Now, her combo also removes immortality, and this immortality removal is okay, but it won't really come into play too much. I mean, it's gonna be hard to use her on a mono green team that's able to fight mono red. So I just don't see this immortality from Vanessa coming into play that much, in my opinion. Maybe against other mono green teams you might be able to make use of it, but yeah. So like so far we see like a good amount of SP, which is good for Mario. Then obviously this invulnerability, which allows Mario to just be super toxic, because Mario could taunt Black Asta, for example. You get him into anti-magic range and then blah blah blah. You can't do shit, right? Now, we get on to the unique passive and the passive. Now, the unique passive is basically Witch Queens. If you're on a full green team, you give immortality to the defender mage, which is Mario Leona in this instance for most people. So immortality is going to be given to Mario Leona on a mono green team, which is actually very good, especially when you combo with the invulnerability. It means you're technically alive for 4 turns, because 2 turns of invulnerability plus 1 turn if you get down with the immortality, so 3, and then you still survive the next turn because the immortality lasts a turn, so 4 turns minimum. Now, her LR plus 2 has been buffed. So it used to give 50% stamina to a defender mage, so Mario. Mobility, stamina, whatever you want to call it. Now, what they added is it also gives 10% speed. So 50% mobility and 10% speed. Which, why 10% speed? Why is it so cracked? Reason being, that 10% speed allows you, if both of the units, let's say Vanessa speeds you up, but someone else is about to go, right? Someone else is at 100% mobility, that 10% speed is going to allow you to go first. So usually how mobility and speed work is that speed allows you to fill up your mobility gauge quicker. But if 2 people have the same mobility, then it's going to be the person that's quicker that goes first. So Mario Leona getting 10% speed is going to usually get her quick enough to be able to pass a good amount of units in terms of actually being quicker than them. And that's why that 10% speed is actually kind of cracked. Now, the Dupe 5 gives SP plus 8 when she dies. Overall, though, if you're trying to use her, get her to Dupe 2. I feel like the Dupe 2 is pretty important because the only team you're using her on is Mario Leona. But overall, I don't think like the Vanessa Mario team is like that crazy. I've seen it a bit in top ranks, but it's like one person, and then the other mono green teams is more so with Spirit Dive. So I'd say that you're more like you're just better to go for like Mimosa Dupe 2 than Vanessa Dupe 2 and just stick with it until a month from now if you really want to use mono green, which is still gonna have Mario, just not Vanessa, right? The Vanessa team is more so to focus 100% on Mario, but the Spirit Dive team is to focus more on him and then have Mario as a back DPS support. So that's kind of how it works for that. But still, Vanessa is going to be pretty good for this little period of time, but I don't think it's going to be anything crazy in my opinion. But, you know, you do you. It's not horrible, but it's not amazing. Now, her best skill page is for sure this, because it gives that total defense. Now, what's also very crazy is that it gives herself damage reduction every time she uses the skill too, because when she has Blessing and Protection on you, it's a 25 to 45% damage reduction. And you get that on the skill too, where you put it on yourself for 2 turns. So for 2 turns and you could repeat it, you get that damage reduction buff, which I think is actually really good. Now, if you don't have that, you could go for this if you want to get increased damage on your DPS and the team, Mario, basically. And then if not, defense or HP could go crazy. That's basically all I'd really recommend for that stuff. There's not too much you could really do about it if we're being honest. Now, as for talents, let's go over this. This is the build I'd recommend going for you. Now, why exactly? Let's go over it. So this is going to be the defense 20%, and this is going to be when you fall below 35% HP, you get a 1-turn debuff immunity. Now, on top, really, I mean, I'd go for this. My bad. Sorry, wrong ones. I'd go for the 5% damage increase and 10% crit damage, because she's not really a DPS, but if you want to, like, whip a bit more damage out of Vanessa, that's how I do it. Now, overall, the skill 2 is nothing too crazy, so I don't think you need that. The blocking may be sure, but overall though I'd go for this because whenever you block, which you do get total defense if you have the skill page on her, you're gonna get debuff immunity and then you're gonna get the accuracy. But overall, if you have heals, go for that. But if not, it's really gonna have to be that. Now for the talent, I'd go for +3 speed. Okay, then for this I'd go for defense for sure, and then here just attack. I guess it really doesn't really matter honestly. Now then, let's talk about the gear. So overall, this is like kind of the best thing you could really run on her. What I'd maybe do is like, for Vanessa, I think this could work. So what you would have is this. If for global, it's a bit hard. I already explained this in Zora. This is the best gear set. I'm just going to recommend it for everyone because the 2-piece gives 20% damage reduction if your HP is over 90%. And especially on a barrier team, it's very strong. So this one would be good if you have a max transcended, but if you don't, then take that out of the equation. You're going to have speed, and then you could have defense, and then you could have the clown set. So the clown set will actually be quite good at being able to give the damage reduction. And Vanessa does use the skill 1. So keep that in mind that it is going to be pretty good for Vanessa. Now, if you don't want to run that, you can run the damage reduction set. You can run the HP set. You can run the normal defense set. You can run the normal HP set, right? The third set doesn't need to be anything in particular if you don't need it, if you don't have like the resources. It could just be a set that you have max transcended, which is completely fine, right? The set on her right now is not too crazy. This could be a max transcended one, but I put it towards the HP set, and at the same time I wanted to make it, where is it? I wanted to make it for whenever the DPS comes out, mainly Noelle, in case I just wanted to have that ready and make sure it was magic attack. If I could find it right here, make sure it was magic attack and make sure it was max transcended with more DPS stats. But a magic attack percent crit res and crit rate is kinda nutty, right? This is a very good piece, a very good piece. To kind of put more explanation into it, the main stats you want are defense on the 4 rectangles, and then you're just going to have magic attack or attack. It doesn't really matter, but you could usually full invest into magic attack since she has more magic attack, right? Now, as for her stats on the substats, it would be mainly crit resistance and defense percent are the 2 big ones, okay? For a lot of support units, defense and crit res are the best. Defense being this one, crit res being this one. Now, the others would be HP, and then you could also get some damage res. Those are the only 4 that I'd really go and focus on. For the accessories, obviously go for defense percent accessories, and then you're kind of done there. Get your units as tanky as you can, basically, is how I'm saying it. But defense and crit res does go the craziest. If you want to put HP into it too, then you are more than welcome to. But for gear, that's essentially it. Now that I've already shown this team off a bit, it's nothing too crazy, but if you have a max like investment, then it can get pretty crazy, which we're going to see soon enough on the Seraph account, right? Now, why exactly does this team work? Mimosa gives turn 1 vulnerability, then Mario has the other 2 turns of invulnerability from Vanessa and the immortality plus double supporting, both giving SP to all 3 of them giving SP. Her from the the combo, and also when she has her dupe 2, right, the dupe 2 LR plus 2 passive, it's 1 SP every turn. Vanessa gives 2 SP on the skill 1, then Charlotte gives either 2 SP or 1 SP or 3 SP if you have the skill page, right? So they're all giving SP, basically making it so Mariel is going to be cracked, or they could give each other SP, for example, right? Let's say Vanessa wanted to get her ult quicker, maybe for that you would want to put Mimosa with Vanessa to be able to get Vanessa's ult back ASAP, right? That's basically another thing that might end up working. It's going to really depend, but you know, you could have a lot of fun with this team because of 3 turns of invulnerability. Now, I have seen this a bit, and it has been annoying for me, because, you know, you can't kill Fuego, and it's like, fuck. But basically, yeah, I mean, it works, I guess. You could invulnerability Fuego, and then you're kind of able to say GG and win, basically, for the most part. So, like, you aren't able to proc the immortality till like 3 turns later, and even if Fuego's silence, it won't matter because you're alive. You're not taking damage for 2 turns, and if the burns are still there, then it's basically GG, right, at that point. And if there's 90% damage reduction in most cases, Marileona will not be dying. And in this case, how it could work is Charlotte uses her damage reduction, okay? Then Vanessa, it's her turn. She invulnerabilities Fuego. But at Dupe 2, she's also going to bring Mario up because of the Dupe 2, right? The Dupe 2 gives her 50% mobility. So because of that, Mario's going to attack next, give the other damage reduction, and then by the time the DPSs attack, right, because Vanessa will be going before the DPSs, by the time the DPSs attack, well, there's going to be 90% damage reduction on Mario, which is going to be extremely strong. And then at that point, Mario is going to be able to place a lot of burns if she's max duped, and then Fuego goes crazy a couple turns later if he's silenced. And if he's not silenced, he goes crazy right away. So yeah, that's Vanessa. I mean, she's nothing too crazy from what I've been seeing. I think I liked her more at first, but now I like Zora more. So, you know, amazing switch up. But Vanessa's not bad. I mean, I used her a lot in PvP. I mean, I have a whole gear pin saved for her, and she kind of made this one. So, you know, it is what it is, but you know, we love our girl Vanessa. She has a very good skin, and like, bro, this skin, ooh. I mean, this one's not bad. This one's not bad too, but I think this one's the best. This one too could go hard, but I just like the red a lot more. So, you know, that's just kind of how it is. Anyway, see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Okay, I'll see you, and peace.